Good morning, everybody. So Friday, actually lost the day yesterday. I thought yesterday was Wednesday. That's not good. I'm going to put a big calendar up on my wall just so I can remember what day it is. Anyway, here we are, Friday morning. And as promised, I thought I would share my mac and cheese recipe. About, oh gosh, 20 years ago, it's hard to believe. 20 years ago, I developed a recipe when I owned Sister's Italian Food in the city market in St. John. And it was just a lark. It was a Thursday morning. I got to work and I thought, what's the lunch special going to be today? And I did mac and cheese. And it was unbelievable how popular it was. It became the most successful day of the week. And people still ask me for that recipe. My good friend Diane Marks bought Sisters from me, 15, 20, or maybe 10 years ago, and or longer. That's hard to believe. Anyway, she still offers the mac and cheese dish there at lunchtime on Thursday, and it continues to be the biggest seller. Now, this is not the Sisters mac and cheese recipe. That was sold to Diane, and it is hers to do with what she likes. However, I still make a mean mac and cheese, so this morning I'm going to share that recipe with you. So the first thing that you do is you start with butter because you're going to make a roux. Before you add the flour, a roux is a mixture, equal parts butter to flour, that you cook, and you make sure you cook it long enough to get the pasty taste of the flour gone. But we're going to start with a little bit of garlic in your butter. So I used 2 cloves. So today's recipe will feed 4 people, 4 adults. And I always use the disclaimer depending on who you're feeding. So we're going to start with a little bit of garlic, 2 cloves, and we'll flavor the butter with that garlic. And once that happens, once we get a little bit of heat going here on this electric stove, not like working on a gas stove. Those of you who have a gas stove, you're so lucky. I work on gas at work, and it's really hard sometimes to come home and work on this electric range because I love that instant heat. Anyway, while I'm waiting for the garlic to heat, something that you'll do even before you start this is you're going to cook your pasta. So when you're doing mac and cheese, don't cheap out and buy an inferior pasta. So I use Del Verde or any of the Italian imports are wonderful to work with. The pasta has the integrity to hold up, especially when you're going to use it in a casserole like this. So, and I used fusilli. It's the corkscrew shape. And I like that because then the sauce can kind of get nestled in between the corkscrew. So this is the shape of it. It looks like that. So the cheese sauce gets caught in there and it's delicious. So you're going to pre-cook it. If you follow the instructions on the bag, the cook time that the Italian manufacturers give you will produce an al dente pasta. So al dente is, it still has, it's soft, but it's firm to the teeth, which means that it's the perfect cookness or doneness for you then to put into your casserole and put it in the oven, because it'll still cook and absorb a little bit more while it's in the oven baking. So follow the manufacturer's instructions in terms of your cook time on your pasta. Also, when you cook your pasta, make sure you heavily salt the water. You don't want your pasta coming out tasting like nothing. So there's an old saying that you want your pasta water to taste like the sea. Mine isn't as salty as that, but I definitely use a generous amount of salt when I'm cooking my pasta. So that butter, I can smell it. You can't smell it, but it smells good. So now I'm going to add the flour. So then you're going to take a whisk and you're going to whisk the flour into the butter, and it'll be sort of a nice foam. Make sure you don't work on too hot a heat because you don't want this to burn. So I'm going to let you see that. You can see what that looks like. So it has a really nice sort of nutty scent. And when you smell that, you know that now you can start adding, wait for it, cream. I don't use milk. If I'm gonna have mac and cheese, I'm gonna go for the full fat whipping cream. So I am using 2 cups, full fat, all the calories, whipping cream. Now, as soon as I get that cream in there, now I'm going to increase the heat because I actually want that to come to a boil. So basically the proportion is 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of flour to 1 cup of cream. So then you can just increase that proportionately depending on how much mac and cheese you want to make. So today I'm using 2 cups of cream, so I used 1/4 cup of butter, 1/4 cup of flour, 2 minced garlic cloves. So this is already thickening, and so now I'm going to immediately turn the heat off. Now, if you're working on gas, that heat's gone. You're working on electric, you're going to have the residual heat left. And now I'm going to add my cheese. So everybody has their favorite combination in terms of what cheese they like. For me, I like hardcore classic. So I used this grater given to me by my friend Elizabeth Rowe. I'm not sure where she got it, but she's great at finding gems like this, sort of an antique grater, and I love it. So 4 ounces of extra old cheddar. I'm going to put that immediately into my sauce. And also, this is 2 ounces of grated Reggiano. That's also going into the sauce. So combination of 2 cheeses. The classic cheddar, make sure you use a really good quality. I use Balderson's, I love their cheese. And I use Reggiano. If you're gonna use Parmigiana, then you wanna make sure that you're using the best. So you stir that so that it's completely emulsified. You want a really nice, smooth, creamy, cheddary sauce. Now I'm gonna take it away from that heat because the stove really slows down, or the heat slows down slowly. All right, so now salt content. This is really important. And again, it's a personal preference in terms of how salty you like something. Keep in mind, both your cheeses are salty. So typically I would use about 3/4 teaspoon per cup of whipping cream. I'm using a coarse sea salt. I always use sea salt. I love the flavor. So I'm going to use a full teaspoon of coarse salt, and I'm dropping it in now. Again, I'm going to stir that really well. So I'm going to show you this sauce. It's beautiful. Looks like that. Gorgeous. All right. So now, get rid of your whisk, because if you try to stir your pasta with the whisk, it gets caught inside and it's really hard to get it out. All right, so I pre-cooked the fusilli. I'm going to drop that into the sauce and mix the pasta with the cheddar and Parmigiana sauce. Oh yeah, this is really gorgeous. Okay, so I'll show you what that looks like. It looks like that, yummy. Now, here's the kicker. So as I said in the beginning, if I'm gonna have mac and cheese, I'm gonna have it all. So, put this salt over. Take your casserole and take half of your mac and cheese. Can you see me? I'm gonna take half of it, put it in the casserole. Okay, it's in. So, sort of flatten that out. Then you're going to take more grated cheddar and you're going to completely cover this layer so that when you're serving it, you'll have the beautiful creamy layers of mac and cheese, and in the center, a gorgeous globby layer of melted cheddar. So now finish with the rest of the mac and cheese. So it's a little awkward and you're looking at the back of this pan. I'm sure this is not how they do it on the Food Network. However, this pan is really heavy. Alrighty, so now you have the top layer And you're going to finish with a combination, again, of grated Reggiano and breadcrumbs. You can use panko if you like panko. I use seasoned Italian breadcrumbs because I like them. And I will upload this recipe so that you can see the proportions of everything and make your own. Now, one thing I want to show you, because it's sort of important so that you're not using a facsimile. When you're looking for Reggiano, it's always stamped. So it will say Parmigiano Reggiano. That's how you know that you're using authentic Parmesan cheese. There's no comparison. The stuff that you get in a shaker can at the supermarket is really kind of nasty. It's really salty, and there's no comparison to this beautiful grating cheese. So there you have it. Mac and cheese, Michelle style. So this will be my last post this week. I'm really loving connecting with you. You have no idea the days, well, you do, because you're doing exactly the same thing I'm doing, but your comments, your photos, it just fills me up. Knowing that we're able to connect on this level is awesome. Being able to cook and share my recipes with you is just, well, it kind of makes me want to get up and do my hair. Oh, I'm kidding. Look, stay safe, everybody. Stay home, and we are going to get through this together. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.